The Circle of Knowledge podcast is brought to you by Amplified Minds, helping entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, and dreamers take their business ideas and goals to the next level. This podcast features best-selling industry resources and the professional panel discussion by the core team at Amplified Minds. Now, here are their discussions.
Welcome back to the Circle of Knowledge podcast. This is your host, John Kovach Jr., and with me today is...
Matt Fritzsche.
This is a very special day on the podcast. Well, it's special for us, Matt, because one thing that we're new to the podcast space, and this will be our 20th recorded episode.
Nice.
And within 20 episodes, we have attained a milestone goal of having over 5,000 episode downloads. 5,000 episode downloads. So like I said, we are new to the podcast space. This is only our third month doing it. We have 20 episodes, and I just think that's a really cool milestone for us because we just thought this would be a great idea for, getting our message out there, sharing value with people, and I'm just super proud to be part of this team because, man, all those 5,000 listeners out there, we're just super grateful for you. This is a shout out to you. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for being a part of our movement. And thanks for listening to the books that we have to share about. We hope that you're picking up these books. In each of the show notes, we have the link to that book on Amazon. So go ahead and click that link if you want to get that book and read more with us and learn more about it. And thank you just for being part of this community.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. Thanks, John. And I think the invite that we would like to send is if you found any of this information valuable, please share it. Please send it. Of course, you know what the Circle of Knowledge podcast is about. Guys, we read a lot of books. I know myself, on average, I read about a book a day. I've learned how to speed read. I've studied that for a very long time. And it's not just about skimming through and going, oh, I can read the title of the book, but it's in-depth, heavy retention on all of these books, and I can read them in about an hour. And I know between myself, between John, and between Brian, we're reading hundreds, and I mean hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books every single year, and all of that knowledge we're dumping in here into the Circle of Knowledge podcast. Our goal is to give you the knowledge to apply immediately so that your life, your business is affected now. So without any further ado, John, let's jump into the book today, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. Now, 0 to 1, it's the main concept behind it, and I'm going to bring it close for all my Facebook viewers. 0 to 1 is all about taking your business from horizontal to vertical. It's going from 0 to 1. What he talks about a lot, Peter, what he talks about a lot in his book is that a lot of us go into businesses trying to incrementally improve on products or services. And what we're doing is we're entering into a competitive space. Now, for anyone, especially a lot of the business owners who love the book like Art of War from Sun Tzu, right? We might have this idea that it's about getting into that marketplace and competing and destroying all of your competition. Peter Thiel says there is a better way, and I would agree. Jumping into a bloodbath, let's call it competition, is going from 0 to N. All right? It's going from 0 to N. You're not going vertical, you're going horizontal. Even Russell Brunson himself, he talks about it in the book Expert Secrets, where he says, really, if you're the second or third or fourth person in, you're technically in a bloodbath, and that bloodbath is competition. The only way to go is down. Because once you enter in competition, what's it about? It's about your prices, right? So it's about competing against each other's prices. I mean, you look at gas stations, and all of them are like this, but they're also close to each other because that's what they're doing is just competing with each other. It is literally a race to the bottom. Low-risk processing, low-risk merchant processing, where, people like Cafe Rio, they take all your credit cards, right? And you swipe your card to purchase your food. People coming into that space, it's a race to the bottom. You can only go as far as 0. No profit, no money, nothing before you're out of a business. So the book 0 to 1 talks about how monopolies are okay and how to create monopolies so that you go vertical and you go 0 to 1. John, this is completely an open conversation. This isn't anything that we prepared, just so everyone on our podcast and Facebook knows. We don't prepare this stuff before. We don't practice this. We don't have discussions before. We love raw. So I want to ask you, John, what do you feel like it takes to step out of competition and start monopolizing?
Well, when you were first talking about that, I thought, well, Matt, do I have to invent something new? Do I need to be the inventor or the creator of something that's completely next gen and out of this world ordinary? No. The answer is no. The answer is you just need to differentiate yourself with your let's call them.
I would say even your products and like your market.
Exactly.
Those are two different things, right?
Two different things. And I was actually thinking competitors, but I love that too. But when you differentiate yourself or make yourself into a niche that's so powerful and so strong that you own that space, I think that ties into what you were just saying, because when you differentiate yourself, or if you become the master of that space, then you're able to own it. You're able to get there and to provide that much value, and then to not be surrounded by all the other hundreds of other businesses that do the same thing. The one business I can think of right now is e-commerce. Okay, a lot of people are jumping in with Shopify and Amazon, and those are great businesses. I tell you, if you want to make great money, jump into those businesses, but do it the right way. Find a niche. Find something that differentiates yourself. And I keep using that word, but I think there's a better word out there, and I think we'll get to that. But literally, find ways to create a niche that's so powerful, so strong, that you are the owner of your own space.
You know what I love about that is we do talk about, in fact, Peter Thiel talks a lot about that .com era, okay, that .com boom, and you know how what it took to be the first Amazon and everything else, right? Those guys are very unique. They came in at the right time, and sometimes you have to pay attention to the trends more than anything else. But let's take a step to now, where right now drop shipping and clothing companies and things like that are popping up all over. You see them on your social media. You see them everywhere advertised online. Well, I want to give you an idea of a company that I really respect. They're called 80/80. 80/80 took this concept of clothes and everything else, and they took it to another level. They didn't come in and compete. They came in and they innovated, and they went from 0 to 1. What 80/80 does is they market specifically to a certain audience. I feel like a lot of people, especially in the clothing space, will come in and they'll say, well, we're all for all girls who want to look good. Okay, well, we're all for, we're for men who like to work out or whatever. That's not specific enough. Not even close. What specificity is that a word, John? I think that's a word. What specificity is what 80/80 did. They said, no, we're going to go reach out to the mechanics of the world, the people who like to get in and get dirty on their cars. They like to work on their cars, fix their cars, put on all the aftermarket stuff to make it louder, meaner, more aggressive, faster. And they went after those guys and said, you know what, we're going to create a community that's awesome for these people to come to and purchase clothes from, and have this feel of community, a sense of community for being a part of that group. Not only that, but they also came out and they said, look, for our community, we want to reward them. Every time you buy a piece of clothing, for every $5 you spend, you're going to get a ticket to win one of our cars. One of the last cars that they gave away was, Godzilla. It was a souped-up Godzilla. It was a Nissan GTR, and the thing was so sweet. I went and I put my car into the car show out in Eagle Mountain, Utah, and there's my Porsche Cayman S sitting next to Godzilla that has like every aftermarket thing, and I'm pretty proud of my car, even though it's no 911, no GTR 3S or anything like that. I'm sorry, GTRS. Oh my goodness. Anywho, the thing was amazing, and for these guys to come in and create this concept that was so invigorating, it was exciting, it made me want to be every part of their business just because of the community they created. The point here is they came in a highly competitive space, which are closed, and they said, no, we're not going to compete. We're going to go from 0 to 1. We're going to innovate, and we're going to create something new and exciting, even if it's a community who sells clothes like everyone else does. I mean, that's how you're going from 0 to 1. Now I want to take this a step further.
Let's do it.
Is it possible to work for someone else and go 0 to 1 within a business?
And here's that rawness. I want to say yes. I want to say, as an intrapreneur, you can take your business from 0 to 1, and that's by continuing that innovative thing you just described. Making yourself different. making your company so valuable in a space that creates an incredible niche. That's just off the cuff, right, shooting from the hip. That's my direct answer, but I'm curious to see what you think.
No, I love that, John, and actually it's funny because one of the things that we were talking about earlier today, and one of the things that Peter mentions is he was talking about how the people in the .com era, and a lot of the reason why the .com, there was a bubble, and it eventually burst for a lot of people, unfortunately. It's because that Silicon Mind actually worked a certain way. And one of the things that they kept pushing is product. It's all about product, not about sales. If you develop the right product, it's going to push itself, and people are going to want to pass it on and refer it to everybody. Now, we're talking about working within a company, right? Well, maybe you don't have the power to change the company, but maybe you have the power to change within the company. Maybe you have the power to step up and say, look, I feel like we're focusing too much on product. We need to refocus and push out sales, and that might become your responsibility. Maybe you can do your part to brand yourself as a salesman as well. You're always promoting your business. And, that's just one idea. But I also think that it is all about innovation. And, sometimes it makes yourself, forces yourself to come up with a plan. And Peter Thiel also talks about a bad plan is better than no plan at all. Right. So maybe for yourself, you're saying, well, what can I do to add value to my company? If I position myself in a certain way within this company, meaning I provide value here, here, and here, X, Y, and Z, it will eventually lead me to getting a raise or whatever else within my business. I promise you, the person who comes up with a plan on how to strategically grow within a business is that same person who's taking their life from 0 to 1. I believe you can go 0 to 1 and not have a business yourself. Okay? Right now, if you're working for someone else, odds are you're competing. You're competing with millions of people across this nation for that same position, that same job title. For that person who steps up and says, no, I'm going to create a plan so that I can escalate this business and provide so much value that my leaders in my business come to me and say, look, you're way too valuable. Let's put you in a position where you have more control, you have more opportunity, and you get paid more. You can absolutely go 0 to 1, just like Peter Thiel talks about, without starting a business and working for someone else.
Yeah, and while you were talking about that, I thought of a really cool example. So prior to Amplified Minds, I used to work for a company called Coldwell Banker Commercial Advisors, one of the top commercial real estate companies in the world. And they're actually now owned by Colliers International, side note. But I worked for one of the greatest chairmen I've ever met. His name is Brandon Fugel. And shout out to Brandon, a really great friend of mine. I love Brandon. And one of the things that he did differently, because he was in his business, he's running his business, but he's also doing what you just said. Not only does he own his own company, but he has to be out there running the front lines, being an advocate, being a salesman for his company. In fact, Brandon was one of the top salesmen of his company year after year for the past 13 years because he had to be out there being that brand ambassador, right? But something he did, they did a groundbreaking down in Utah County, and they were breaking on a new building, but they wanted to do something special, announce that they love that area so much that they're going to bring extra value by moving into the space and providing extra space for their clients. In doing so, Brandon that morning called up his brother and said, hey, will you please drop in on our ribbon cutting event via skydiving and drop in on our event and hand a briefcase to the governor, and the briefcase with the governor will have him sign our lease agreement right then and there in front of everybody. And that was so cool. It was so different. But he did this because why? Nobody else in the commercial real estate space is going to drop a briefcase with skydivers into a ribbon cutting so that they could show extra value to their clients and their customers. I think that's phenomenal. And I think that kind of describes all the things that we just talked about. One, focusing on being different, focusing on a niche, going out there, being the salesman, and then creating extra value elsewhere. I think that's just a cool example.
You know what I think one of the last things that I want to talk about very briefly here, John, is that it's one thing that he pointed out. The people who step into competition typically lie about their competition.
Right.
They're the ones who come in and they say, no, I don't have competition. They're the ones who are saying, I'm so unique. So our warning to you guys is don't be that person. Don't be that person who is so naive to what's actually going on out there. Don't be that person who's blind to all these other people who are doing similar things. And instead, use that to your advantage. Competition is great in one sense. That's so that you can learn to figure out how to laser focus in either on a market, on a product, to make yourself different, to monopolize. And as Peter Thiel talks about, don't be afraid to start in the small market before you go big. A lot of other companies come in and they say, I want to be a national company, and they expect to hit it within the first year. And when they only have 10 people, part of their business, they go, well, what's wrong with my business? Nothing. Start small, focus small, work on them, work on their referrals of people that they know, and eventually you will grow. Now, with monopolies, to bring it back to the competitive people typically lie. Monopolies, believe it or not, they broaden themselves. Okay, they broaden themselves. They don't say I'm a specific, or my company is so unique. I'm a Greek restaurant in the city of Palo Alto, California, who also serves hot dogs. Okay. Instead, they open themselves up, and monopolies are the ones who are typically lying about the fact that they're monopolies. Google comes out and says we're a search engine. They don't say anything more than we're a search engine. But then you have competitors who come in and say, I'm the only one who does this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this. Well, I would be a little bit careful, okay? Check your competition before you make statements, and don't be so prideful to believe that you really are the most unique thing out there. Until you've done your research, until you've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who said, I have never heard anything like this, then I feel like you have the ability to state that. But I just want to warn everybody to be careful, because that's how you can get into a trap. So if you want to monopolize, make sure you know everything, all of your surroundings, you've done the research, and guys, just laser focus in on your sales, okay? Stop worrying so much about the product. Start creating a plan, because a good or a bad plan is better than no plan at all right? And then really figure out what that market is, who you're marketing to, that's what I mean, and what that product is, whether it's going into, let's say like coaching, for example. It's going into the coaching world where it's highly competitive, and it's creating something for the coaches, or it's coaching in a way no one ever has done before. It's delivering a product no one has seen before. Start thinking about more ways to add value. Now, I do want to say, look, stuff works. If you can, plumbers can continue to go out and create new plumbers, and they'll always be successful. Then that's really up to you. Are you that person who wants to settle for something that has existed for a very long time that you can continue to doing and make, generate some success? Or are you the person who's seeking that massive 10x result for yourself and your business and your life, who's going to affect the millions of people and generate the billions of dollars? If you want to be that person, make sure you go pick up the book 0 to 1 from Peter Thiel and start focusing on monopolizing your business.
Well, thanks for joining us today on the Circle of Knowledge podcast. We hope that this was valuable to you. Again, check out the links in our show notes. And if you're watching this on live, check it out. It's blue. It's beautiful. It's 0 to 1. Peter Thiel. Thanks for joining us. Hey, this is John with Amplified Minds. Thanks again for listening to the show. We really hope you enjoyed the Circle of Knowledge podcast. If you like the Circle of Knowledge podcast, go ahead, subscribe, rate us, and if you give us a 5-star review, we promise to give you a personal shout out here on the air. Just watch us. You can also engage with us a little bit more through social media. On any channel, you can just find us at Amplified Minds. To learn more about Amplified Minds, go to our website at amplifiedminds.com. That's AMPLIFIEDMINDS.com. You should also check out the Amplified Minds Accountability Program, where you can gain access to a one-on-one personal accountability coach, somebody who will contact you weekly and motivate you, hold you accountable, follow up, and give you the proper resources that will help you to go out and achieve all your goals. Hey, shout out to all you coaches, speakers, mentors, the superheroes of the world. We have the perfect program for you and your audiences. We have the capabilities of setting your audience and communities up in private mastermind groups and assign them a one-on-one personal accountability coach where they can help
your people achieve the things that they're working towards, tailored to your programs. For more information about this, go ahead and send me an email at John, that's JON, at amplifiedminds.com. I look forward to hearing from you.
Hey guys, Matt Fritzsche here. I'm very excited to talk to you guys about an opportunity that my wife and I are creating for ourselves. And it's more of a movement. It's more of something that we believe in personally. We believe that right now there's such a wave of this entrepreneur idea, this be your own boss mentality, stop working for someone else, start working for yourself mentality. And it's nice and all, but it's not for everyone. And we see that. And what's more unfortunate is that we see individuals who want to be a part of that entrepreneurial group, and they go out and they try it and they create hardships for themselves. But these individuals perform so well within organizations, and we're trying to raise that awareness. We're trying to excite the intrapreneur. So what we've done is we've created a business called Intrapreneur, and we are supporting those hardworking individuals, the innovators, the implementers that are the reason for businesses' success. And we're creating a community for that individual to know where they can go to be supported, to feel great about themselves, and to uplift and inspire each other. And you can actually find us at intrapreneur.shop. We sell different clothes, we sell different accessories, all to support that individual. And what we're hoping to do here very soon is we're hoping to get our community to the point where we are going to give away a Porsche Cayman S to one hardworking individual that definitely deserves to be rewarded for being a difference maker within an organization. That's a quick message I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you for listening again. Matt Fritzsche. Go check out intrapreneur.shop.